Welcome back to Watch More Football. My name's Cam Clark. We're back again with Dave and Ryan. This week, Mick's not here. You are watching us on the Genreverse Sports YouTube channel. It's a new channel, so please give us a like and a subscribe if you can, because it would really help the channel grow. As I said, I'm Cam Clark and I work for LRMonline.com as one of the senior editors, so please check that out for all your written news, kind of entertainment, everything to do with movies, shows, all that sort of stuff. And our main Genreverse YouTube channel has all of that covered in lovely video format for you as well. As always, we're going to be discussing this weekend's fixtures in the Premier League. Bit of bias towards our own teams, biggest stories of the week, and here we go. So, guys, one thing I'm going to do as we go over the results this week is just kind of comment on what our predictions were last week. And for the viewers, we'll see at the end that we've got nice little whiteboards now that we're going to show you our predictions for each week, just so that you can keep track of how shit we are at predicting football games. So we'll start off with one little thing I wanted to say first before we go on, and that's with regards to one of the games which was actually abandoned this weekend between Bournemouth
and Luton.
Yeah, it was Bournemouth and Luton, and that was because Tom Lockyer collapsed. Heart problems on the pitch. The game got abandoned as a result, and really we just want to kind of wish him all the best, given the tragic kind of circumstances. He is conscious. He is in hospital at the moment, and just wishing him and his family all the best. Moving on to all the other fixtures, we're going to start off with Nottingham Forest, who lost at Spurs 2-0, guys. In terms of our predictions, everybody predicted that would be the case, that Spurs would win, except me. Moving on to the Saturday fixtures, good start. Burnley lost 2-0 to Everton. Actually, I've done them in the kind of wrong order, so I'll kind of do them in a different order. So I'll start off with the Chelsea beating Sheffield United. Pretty much, Dave, you had predicted Sheffield as a Chelsea fan. Ryan predicted a draw, and me and Mick thought Chelsea would win. So Mick and I grabbed that one. Man City drew 2-2 with Crystal Palace. I don't think it comes as any surprise that none of us predicted that, and that we all thought Man City were going to win. And that's one of the things that we will talk about this week, is the fact that Man City are just not picking up the points that you would normally expect them to do at the moment. Newcastle won 3-0 against Fulham, which was good for us this week. I'm sure Mick was so excited, that's why he's ill now and can't come on tonight. In terms of predictions for it, sorry,
I missed a week after a 3-0 win as well, after a bad run, so maybe that's the thing. We just need to avoid our team.
I'm going to be healthy all season.
You guys have been up doing every time you think you're in the dirt, Dave. He's a victory somewhere. As we said, green shoots a recovery, and then they immediately get weed coloured back down again the following week. But in terms of the kind of Newcastle result, you all actually said Newcastle, except me, who thought it was going to be a draw. And then the one I was going to start with, we'll get to that, is Burnley versus Everton. Everton won 2-0. I think everyone said Everton would win except Mick, who said it would be a draw. Moving on to the Sunday games, and I'm having an issue with my computer at the moment, not want to play, sorry about that. We had Arsenal beating Brighton 2-0. I think most of us said that Arsenal would win, except Mick, who said it would be a draw. Brentford lost 2-1 to Villa. Everybody said Villa except Ryan, who said it would be a draw. West Ham beat Wolves 3-0, and we all said a draw except Ryan, who said Wolves. So unluckily, none of us that one right. And then we had the Liverpool Man United game, and none of us got this one right, because every single one of us predicted that there would be a Liverpool victory, and it was a 0-0 draw. So guys, big stories at the weekend. I think probably the best place to start off is just talking a little bit about Man City, because given the sort of invincible nature that they've built over the last few seasons, they won the treble last year, including the European Cup for the first time. Absolutely were the best team in Europe. They've won the league the last 3 years in a row, and I think it's 5 out of 6 that they've won as well. Liverpool's the only one that's kind of jumped in there between them with one victory. I don't think there's quite a crisis situation happening at City yet, but they're not quite the team they were last year, are they? And at home, that's a bad result against Palace for me.
Yeah.
Last year they weren't at the top of the league at this stage, were they? Not that I remember.
No, they weren't.
They were more convincing.
They went in a run, but they had more points than they have at this point this year, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think where it's Liverpool and Arsenal, and a little bit Villa.
Yeah, last year Liverpool weren't in it at this stage. So
I think a lot of it was, Arsenal were doing it for the first time as that squad, and they always had City breathing down their necks. Whereas it's a bit more open this year. But Palace have a habit of tripping City up at this time of year. I think that they quite often get a result against City. It's normally at Selhurst Park, but yeah. I just City
Palace
started
did
well,
play quite well in terms of
Mateta had a really good game up front for them as well. He was really good in terms of just chasing everything and being a general nuisance.
Still, you don't feel like, considering they were winning the game, it's not as if they went behind and they took all that time to get back. They were winning fairly comfortably, and then they let Palace come back.
And it's
which is really unusual.
Another thing of the team being able to go for it against City and get something out of it, rather than having to have a perfect game within your own box and then lump it down the field to score. It's everyone who's got something out of City has taken a game to them in some way.
Even Hodgson said himself, it's about hitting the right time to attack them. But sometimes you're going to have to sit, and it's not like as if they went and did an Aston Villa and just camped City in their box or anything like that.
But it's still, I think, sort of, at 2-0, Palace sort of went on the front foot a little bit more and challenged them. It wasn't lump it up to the forward. They didn't necessarily play the way through, but they were sort of playing with more sustained attacking intent, I'd say. It wasn't they got a goal out of nowhere. It was they put the pressure on and City couldn't match with it. Maybe they took the foot off the gas, or I don't
know. It's just unusual. City.
The highlights for that one.
Yeah, I thought Edison could have got sent off though.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the same.
The tackle itself, he could have got sent off for, but he got booked. And then after Palace's first goal,
the one in WhatsApp I said he shouldn't have been sent off for, isn't it?
He was very smart about it. He just very briefly decided he was going to hang on to the ball, but as soon as he was challenged on it, he let it go, just so that he was smart about it. He didn't take it too far. But I think another keeper might have tried that and got his second yellow. I don't know.
Certainly, I think you could see another ref might have given it. I don't know. I didn't feel he was a last man, but you kind of did feel it was the guy would have had a clear shot and goal.
He's got form for flying out of his box and taking a player out, hasn't he, Edison? So.
Yeah, I felt like it could easily have been given a red on another day. I know the defender was coming in, but I feel like there's enough of a goal open for him to get a shot off.
Given the fact that City are now, they're going to have a fixture jam because they're going to the World Club Cup.
World Cup,
so they have to go and play that, and it's not the most strenuous tournament that they'll play. It would be more strenuous to stay at home and play Premier League games, I think. But
I think they play 2 games, don't they?
Yeah.
I think they go in at the semi-final, don't they? And
they're playing tomorrow night the semi-final against Urawa Reds from Japan. And then the final's likely going to be against Fluminense, which if the sort of Libertadores final, it'll be an easy, they should win it, but they'll have lumps kicked out of them the whole time.
Yeah, they give it their all as well.
The only game they're missing is Brentford this weekend. They're back in the day after Boxing Day, so it's
so they only missed
they've really sort of. I think they've really rejigged the calendar for that recently, so it suits the bigger teams more because they used to be out for.
Because I remember when Chelsea did it, it was like a couple of weeks, wasn't it? When Man United.
United dropped out of the whole FA Cup to go, didn't they once? So.
Yeah, Liverpool did the same, didn't they? Did Liverpool not take a?
I thought they just had.
They had to tackle.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
No, I think they
I don't
played
know,
the
I feel
kids
like-
against Villa, didn't they? Because they had like they had the Club World Cup one day and then the League Cup quarter final the
The day
following day,
after.
didn't they?
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
think they sent the kids to the League Cup.
I know that there was a big
Yeah.
it shouldn't happen when Man United did it,
Yeah.
and it wasn't really their choice at the time. It was kind of like, well, it was either this or don't go.
And I guess it was
it
was the first time as well, wasn't it? It
wasn't
wasn't
the time for the competition though, really.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
the new format
Why
would be
play
interesting.
it at this time of year?
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Why not just play it like after the end of the season, after the Champions League final or
Or
something like that? And
That's kind of
amongst all
what
the-
the new format's going for.
Yeah,
Well,
or
that's
in
one every
amongst all
4
the
years, isn't
pre-season
it?
games like the Super Cup and Community
Mhm.
Shield and stuff like that. But yeah, the new format should be interesting, where it's going to be almost like a World Cup format every 4 years.
Yeah, I like the look
That
of it
should be fun.
actually.
Yeah.
But that's mainly Big Swear in it, so.
yeah, is
Give
that
rats
because
ass
you're a
everyone.
previous World Cup champion, basically? from
No,
when
I
you
think
won
it's
it?
because we won the Champions League 3 years ago. So
Yeah. I think it goes off.
Three-
off
But you won
2
the,
years.
the world one after it, did you not?
Yeah, we did, yeah,
No, but
yeah,
it goes
but
off.
that's
It
not a
goes off
factor.
sort of continental wins, and then there's a bit of coefficient nonsense in there as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the system, but the systems are often complicated and bizarre anyway for these things.
But you know,
point is, I guess, if we're getting back to taking a city again, does anybody think, is this just a blip and they're going to go on one of they'll hit January and they'll just win every game for the rest of the season, or are they just not quite as good a team this year as they were last year?
I mean,
I don't think they're as good this year. I think they're beatable, but equally, Kevin De Bruyne's back in training, and
Yeah,
can
he
just
is,
come
yeah,
in and
and
just destroy everything.
Yeah.
But
You said that
Yeah.
last week as well. But yeah,
well, yeah, but you know, it's his shadow is looming large over everything. I think.
Yeah. I don't think they're as good. I think they've lost a bit of that invincibility nature. I think
Yeah.
teams are seeing them and think, you can get, if you play well, you can't go and stink the place up, you're going to get smashed off them, but if you play well, you can go and get a result against City.
They've completely dropped that formation that Pep came up with last spring that was just, it looked completely impenetrable. But they've completely dropped that this year for some reason.
They don't have fullbacks anymore, do they?
No. I mean, it's a similar philosophy, but it just...
And now he inverts
it was like the sort of WM sort of old school 1930s thing. It just, he doesn't seem to be playing that. He seems,
who are we to question Pep at this point? Because, if he ends up winning everything again next year, we'll be calling him a genius again. But it does take a bit of guts, I guess, to break a winning formula like that. Another game I wanted to talk about, besides talking about our own teams, because we're all biased and we want to talk about our own teams mostly. The other game I wanted to talk about was the Villa one, where they won 2-1, and specifically, I don't think it's so much the fact that Villa won. It was a good away victory, but they were getting beat 1-0 up until the time Brentford got a player sent off. I don't know if you all saw the red card challenge.
Yeah, I
you
think it
was a
it's
red
fair
or not.
enough
I
red.
thought it was it was so red. It was unbelievable to me.
Yeah,
Literally jumps off the floor, puts his studs right into the guy's leg, and if he had been standing on that leg, he's not playing football anymore. The fact was he was standing in the other leg and he was able to just pivot away and he hardly even got hurt, but that's not the point.
Absolute red,
So
definitely.
I disagree with their manager that it was a poor red. I think he needs to take away Specsavers.
Thomas Frank, he's always seems like this sort of cool, chill, hipsterish dude, but he has got like the biggest chip on his shoulder out of anyone.
I don't know. That's quite a statement coming from Premier League managers, isn't it? They've all got a chip on their shoulder.
No, but he is
all
really sort
when
of.
They get beat and they all moan about decisions.
I remember
sometimes he can seem one way, and then when he gets bad decisions against them, he does go a bit. He's almost like channels he's in at Arteta.
The first season they were up, they played United, and they were. I'd say they put in the better performance in the first half, but it was still only enough of a performance to keep us at arm's length, and it was 0-0 at half time. And he's, this is going brilliant, perfectly to plan. Second half, United just eased to a 2-0 win, and he got really uppity, like, we outplayed United for 60 minutes, and that's amazing, blah, 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 blah. And we were like mid-table Ralph Rangnick sort of shit tier at that point. I don't know, he's just got a big, a big
I
sort
think he
of
just doesn't
chip on his
always
shoulder,
handle his
small dog
emotions right
mentality.
at
I
the
don't
end of
know.
the game, and then when he comes
Yeah.
in, he gets, he sees sense. I think he's just one of those types. I don't think they've got any complaints about the red. But what happened after that, though? Just all the players just started completely losing their heads. So up until that point, there'd been one yellow card, and after that point, after the red, there was something like 11 yellow cards in a row. It all just flipped.
It was. I was saying that Everton Burnley was going to be the big shithousing match, but this was just glorious shithousery from absolutely everybody.
Came from nowhere as well, didn't it?
Well, so the first what kicked it off was
were just, I don't know what the two of them
but
were
what kicked it off was
you know.
Ollie Watkins used to play for Brentford and left on good terms and made them a load of money from his sale.
Yeah.
But the fans were giving it to him all game. He scores the winner late on,
and doesn't even specific fan was, and he doesn't even towards him.
As I say, he doesn't even. It's not like he went full Adebayor and went running down the touchline or anything. He just literally stood in the goal and went, "Yeah, I scored."
And he looked at that one person and didn't say anything.
And then a Brentford player kicked off, but then Mopé and Martinez was just beautiful to watch.
It was comical though.
It was
the two of them just trying to shit each other. Mopé's attempted penalty. Which another one that was a.
Mopé putting the shoulder in first for absolutely no reason. Like not going to achieve anything. A guy twice the size, and Martinez is like the best keeper to do that to. I think the only other keeper he could do that to and get a better reaction would be Pickford, but
maybe. Yeah. Although I did love the way Martinez, like with one hand, picked him up by the shirt at one point. Then Martinez walked past him, and I think he did bump him slightly because there'd been a bit of a bit of beef between them.
Just
but
gave
it
him
wasn't
one back,
anything at all. And Mopé's like, dives to the ground. You know what I mean? And Martinez is just like, "Get up, little man," and just picks him up with a shot. I thought that was quite good actually.
But yeah, they're both.
But after that, it just went crazy, and then there was another red card for Villa after that as well.
Yeah,
was it Cook? Yeah,
it was Kamara. Kamara sort of slapped a Brentford player across the face. I mean, I'm surprised.
Yeah, right by the cheeks like that.
I'm surprised Martinez didn't get anything for dragging Mopé up, to be honest. But
I thought he should probably get a yellow, but I
think he probably did get a yellow.
Just appreciated the comedy value.
Yeah,
I don't think he did. No, I don't think he got a yellow at all. He wasn't one of the ones that was listed as getting a yellow.
I saw a good stat that of all the Sunday 2:00 kickoffs, 4 of the 6 managers got booked. And the 2 who didn't are the 2 you might not expect. Do you know who the 2 who weren't booked are?
It must have been Frank.
Klopp and did Klopp not get booked?
Emery, maybe.
No, it was the 2 Klopps, not the Arteta got booked.
Standard.
Emery
Frank
and Frank
Emery,
they both got booked. And Gary O'Neill got booked.
Well, Eddie Howe,
Moyes and De Zerbi
didn't. Never get booked, surely.
Well, he wasn't playing on Sunday, so
Saturday. No. We Saturday. Sorry. All right.
Yeah, so it was David Moyes and De Zerbi who didn't get booked, but they're sort of 2 that you would expect to get booked. Although I suppose it was
especially De Zerbi.
3-0. He had nothing to stress about.
Yeah, I'd say Moyes had a chill game, but he's not a chill person, I don't think.
Well, he's Scottish.
Yeah, I suppose not. But I mean, to be fair though, if we cut out all the craziness, Brentford were a little bit unlucky not to get something against Villa, and I think if it hadn't been for the sending off, I don't think Villa would have won that game. I really don't, because up until that point, they didn't look like scoring. So, then the spaces just started to open up after that. But still a good result for them. That keeps them up the top of the table with the title contenders.
Yeah, it keeps it interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, shall we move on to our teams then, who after last weekend we were all really, really disappointed. We're all a bit happier this week. Well, kind of, what we'll do is we'll start off, we will point out the fact, and then quickly we'll move on, that Ryan's team Man United and my team Newcastle United got bombed out of Europe this week and are no longer in any European competition for the rest of the year. And every other English Premier League side that's in Europe qualified in their groups and
top their group, didn't they? All of them.
We won't talk about it. Yeah, they all basically won at a canter except us. I think we had maybe a bit of an excuse given the group that we were in for that. Less sure about Man United. it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're both
United
out and they're all through, and that's that.
Yeah, United had the opportunities to go through before the game against Bayern. Newcastle had this, but they they didn't do anything with it. Newcastle had the opportunities in the final game, but I think the damage was done for Newcastle in those 2 games against Dortmund, really, weren't they?
Yeah, we never picked up anything from those games, and I think you're looking to at least pick up not even a point from home would have probably been qualified.
Yeah.
And you could blame the penalty that never was against PSG, but these things do happen from time to time, and I still think overall we just didn't do enough. We just didn't do enough to deserve to qualify, even though we didn't have any stinking games. But anyway, that's Europe. We're not interested in that anymore. It's still January, and then we'll only have a vague passing interest in it because our teams just aren't in it anymore. But moving on to kind of the results, your teams at the weekend, certainly. We'll start off with maybe the biggest game of the weekend, but really probably one of the worst games of the weekend in terms of viewer to watch, which was Liverpool drawing 0-0 to Man United. Now, 0-0s can, Kel's probably sitting laughing, producing in the background, going 0-0 draws, they should never happen in any sport ever. But you guys will agree with me that I've seen 0-0 games before that are brilliant to watch, even though there was no goals. This was not one of them. No,
I mean,
it was not
0-0 shouldn't happen if you're having 34 shots in a game. And I've been saying for weeks that Liverpool's attack is rubbish.
Yeah. The fact that you can have that many shots and still consider it boring as well just shows.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not massively excited by that performance. It went a lot better. Yeah, it went a lot better than I was expecting.
Positives to take away.
We did
approach
it in the
took his chance. We could have won it.
We approached it in the right way. It was very much sort of last-ditch bodies everywhere, sort of defending though. Liverpool basically spent the entire game in our box, never mind our final third.
I think Liverpool were good enough. Sorry, I'll let you go on. And then
the front three, they're not quite acting as a unit, which is really they need to start doing that more because of how little we're getting the ball to them. So they need to, when we do get an out ball, they need to have a plan between the 3 of them to actually do something with it. And everyone was very much sort of working on their own. The one time the whole team sort of passed through was that Højlund chance, like you said, Cam. But I don't, he wasn't great against Bayern Munich. He wasn't making the right runs, and I don't think he was great against Liverpool. But I think he's just sort of fed up because he has been making the right runs and he has been making the effort, but not been really getting the service.
He doesn't get the kind of service that you think he wants as a striker.
It's just sort of ground him down a little bit, I think. So he's had a couple of poor games personally, and then that gets compounded with the fact that he's not scored in the league yet. But Varane had a good game. Mainu in midfield was really good. Kept the ball well defensively and put in some good passes. Amrabat had a really sort of, like I said in the chat, he was a bit like Fred, but his highs aren't as good as the Fred highs, I don't think. But yeah,
I mean, I know what you mean, but sometimes I think he's a bit more, not completely, but he does the basics a little bit better than Fred. Sometimes he's less prone to a wobbly that Fred could do sometimes as well.
Yeah,
so
he doesn't
take that as well.
Yeah, he doesn't ever go for like a glory pass or anything like that.
He's not a risk taker.
Yeah,
Fred very much was.
I do think he's not quite got the quickness of mind, and he can find himself in trouble that way. He does need someone like mine who's supporting him.
In the first couple of months in the Premier League though as well. He's been playing in a different league, and it does take some players a while to adjust. So come next year, you may see him start to adapt that little bit.
We'll see. I mean, we've only got him on loan, so we'll see if we keep him. It might be that
yes. You always bring people in and loan, and then they don't do well, and you never keep them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
it's like Sabitzer did nothing for us last year, and he's doing pretty well at Dortmund.
He's doing all right.
Yeah,
doing all right.
But yeah, it might be that Mainu makes enough of an impression that we don't see the point in renewing Amrabat.
I did hear rumours that Casemiro could be sold to the Saudis in January.
I think if a bid, I don't think we're actively looking to get rid of him, but if a bid came in for him, we'd be silly not to, because his value's only going to go down.
Yeah, and his wages are pretty high as well.
Varane's put in a couple of good performances since he's come back, but equally, if somebody came in for a bid for him, I would absolutely sell him because
he's the wrong side. He's old as fuck.
Yeah. We might be able to salvage 30 million off each of them, which is still half of what we paid for each of them. But next year that'll be 10, and then it'll be 5, and then it'll be let them go on a free. So
it would only be Saudi though, because nobody else will match those. Because the two of them are crazy wages. I mean, they're both in double what any player at Newcastle earns. Do you know what I mean? Pretty much.
It's the same with Sancho.
Maybe not quite now because Bruno's got his new contract, but yeah,
it's the same with Sancho. There's a bunch of German clubs interested in bringing him back because he was really good in Germany, but we're paying him 350 grand a week. They're not going to match that, and he's not going to take a pay cut. So, yeah.
So moving on to kind of the Liverpool side of that equation, then I mean, they're in the title hunt. You can't deny that, right? Because they've always been a good team for the last few years. Klopp's a good manager. He knows how to win the league. He's done it before. But something just tells me they're not quite good enough to win the league, despite the fact that they're absolutely in it at the moment. I don't know. Wanted to ask your opinions.
Their defence and their midfield are working pretty well, but their attack is just not quite. It's not quite Mane, Firmino, and Salah just yet. There's something not quite there, and for all they had 34 shots, they didn't really create many. Absolutely, they've got score off this chances.
Still not sure.
Nana made a few saves, and
Nunes is a very hot and cold player, isn't he? You never know which Nunes you're going to get.
Yeah, you sometimes like when he come on and smashed 2 in against us with 10 men, you just thought, maybe he's arrived finally, and then he goes missing again for a couple of weeks, and then he comes back and scores a few beauties again. There just seems to be a consistency issue with him.
He could have got sent off in the first half as well, Nunes.
Easily could have. Yeah, if you're taking your red cards.
Should have been.
Yeah. And I've been in a fight on Reddit all day over this, but Dallos was absolutely 100% a red card. He was an absolute idiot, I thought.
I think if you go by the letter of the law, it was a red card. But I think the problem is when you look at what Nunes did, it's equally as much a red card. And what you're asking for is consistency. So they showed a bit of leniency to Nunes, and they didn't give any leniency to Dalot.
I think
when it's 90 minutes, it's 0-0, and the game's
basically the only sort of distinction I can make, and I think there's 3 things that Nunes did. One, he got booked for clearing out Johnny Evans. Another day that could be a red itself. He booted the ball away, which is booking, and then he kicked off at his booking for the tackle. But it was all sort of in the one sort of thing. Dalot kicked off over a throw-in, and I know it was in a good position, but it's still just a throw-in 30 seconds out. You can defend that, and they did defend that.
One. Yeah, no, the first
he kicks off. He sort of kicks off at the throw-in being given. Turns around from the ref and sort of calms himself down. You can watch a match of the day again. He's sort of on his haunches. He's calmed himself down. He's like, right, let's worry about defending. Then he sees that he's booked, and then he starts kicking off again. And I think that's why he got the second yellow, because it's not.
Oh, you're absolutely right. That's exactly how they called it. But
Nunes should have been sent off, I think, or could have been sent off. But Dalot was. It's a stupid hill to die on, kicking off that much over a throw-in. At that point, at the end of the game, Ten Hag got a bench ban for the same thing. I'm sick of the ref discussion, and I'm sick of people saying that it's all right to have a go at a ref if they get a decision wrong. Yes, he got a decision wrong, but it was one of those ones where he kicked it onto his foot to send it out for a throw-in, and of course the ref's gonna not see that clearly.
That has been happening in football since it began. I mean, that people have, it happens in 5-a-side games and stuff like that as well. You kick it out and everybody just, it's that natural instinct when you're a kid. Oh no, it hit me last, and you have to argue about who
the reason why I think it's important that Dalot got sent off is because at a 5-a-side game, it's a teenager reffing it, and you got someone twice his size going in and picking him up by the scruff of the neck, and that's Premier League refs have got a lot more
we need to give more respects to the refs. You're absolutely right. And I like the fact that they are kind of sticking with us so far throughout the season that if somebody talks back to the refs, they are getting yellows. If somebody deliberately wastes time, they're getting yellows. We've seen people sent off for it. It used to be that they would do this, but they'd never quite send people off. But we've seen people.
I remember
sent off this
ages ago. This is going back 15 years when they first started talking about it, and it was the first weekend that they brought it in. It was halfway through the season. Ashley Cole and Javier Mascherano got done for it, but that's because they sort of were those two players anyway. They were, they were the sort of dickhead players that were always going to get that red card, and then nothing else happened for the rest of the season.
It's still happening this season, though, isn't it?
That's the way it's happened before.
Like players aren't learning this season.
Nobody else got sent off for it the rest of the season. But
you mean
the players will have to learn that.
Yeah.
They can't do it. It's just as simple as that. And some are learning. The smarter ones are learning. And they're not doing it anymore. You're seeing a lot less of people showing the imaginary card, for sure. Because they know they'll get a booking for it. All right, moving on to your game, Dave. Next, we'll pick up Newcastle sort of last. 2-0 victory for you guys. Actually, fairly comfortable in the end, which is probably not actually that surprising considering you're playing Sheffield United. They're the bottom team in the league.
Yeah.
They're probably the poorest team in the league. But given Chelsea's sort of recent form and Sheffield have been getting a bit better, it wasn't that cut and dry that this was going to be a guaranteed home victory, was it?
It wasn't. No, I mean, obviously, with my prediction last week, I was quite negative towards it because I haven't seen us control a game in a while. This was definitely a game we controlled.
Again, I only saw the highlights, but I think you did.
Yeah, I only saw the highlights.
Much of
Sheffield United had like one shot at goal, did they? Something like that. I only saw one.
And it was a bit of a wild one, to be honest.
Yeah.
Highlights were just basically Chelsea chances until the goals.
Yeah.
But sometimes the BBC can do that.
Our goals are a bit strange as well, weren't they?
The first goal was a really good move, I thought.
Yeah, it was,
I really liked the first goal. The second goal was bizarre, though.
Yeah, all their players stopped playing. I don't know why they stopped playing.
Sterling's asking for a penalty. Meanwhile, Jackson's just sort of sat at the back post.
People are making fun of him for just scoring the easiest goals, but at least he's there.
That's what's he supposed to do. That's what he's there for. If he doesn't score them and he gets slagged.
Yeah, I'd love Højlund to have a half dozen tap-ins this season, to be honest.
Yeah.
The problem is you aren't creating the...
Exactly, we don't create the tap-ins for him.
Yeah,
that is exactly it.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Chelsea have always been, even this season, good at putting forward attacks. It's just been finishing and then falling asleep and letting goals in the other way, to be fair. But
yeah.
Did Nkunku got on?
No, he didn't get on in the end, which is a good thing. I don't think anybody wanted him to come on because you don't want to risk anything in a game which we had already wrapped up. Especially with a week we've got ahead with all these fixtures. Whether he'll play, I don't think he'll start. He might get subbed on later on.
I don't think he'll start against us. No. We'll talk about that one.
We'll talk. We'll talk about that.
But
this game, I'm not going to take too much away from it because it is Sheffield United.
Yeah.
You're expected to do that.
You can be happy that you won this weekend.
It's not even happy we won. I'm happy that we didn't lose. That's what it is.
And I guess myself and Mick's not here, obviously, but he'd be quite happy.
We'll have a bit of balance in this chat now. It's only one, Geordie.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I know. But we won 3-0 at Fulham. I don't think it quite tells the full story though, because I think for me the big turning point was that they got a player sent off, and I'm going to say absolutely 100% deserved. But
nailed on. I can't believe it took a VAR check.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not even sure why it needed a VAR check to rule that one. The ball was what? He jumps up so high that he smashes the guy in the face with his arse.
Yeah. The ball was what? Knee height from Longstaff?
Across the ground. Yeah. I mean, I don't think he was trying it. I think what he did was he jumped in, misthinking where it was, I thought he was going to play it high up, so he jumped to try and block it.
Yeah.
Realised, this is really stupid.
Has he never played
trying
Street
to
Fighter?
turn around his show. I'm not really trying to kill him here, but he couldn't stop his force, and he just smashed right into him. Anyway, it was a red card and but I think that really did change the game, because up until that it was quite even, and it was so early on, and then they kept us 0-0 for the rest of the first half, and then in the second half we just ran away with it. We having just the extra man and stuff like that. And it got to the point where it was so comfortable we were actually able to, for once, make substitutions and just rest people and play a bit with it in the back a little bit, which was good for us as well. Only bad thing was Joelinton went off injured and Shah went off injured. both not supposed to be too bad, but given how bad our injuries have been this year, it's a bit of a kick in the arse.
You had Botman back on the bench.
Yeah, Botman come back. He come on for the last 20 minutes, just for a runabout, but didn't have much to do at that point. So it was a good time to bring him on just to give his legs a bit of a workout, you know. But and I really don't think he'll play against. I certainly won't start against Chelsea. I would imagine if Shar's not fit, it'll be Lascelles and Byrne that start at centre back against Chelsea. But he'll be on the bench anyway, so that's kind of a good thing. But overall, a comfortable victory. I don't know if you guys have got any kind of opinions on that one.
I mean, Livramento looked good again, and it was good to see Miley get a goal.
Yeah, it was actually. That's Mick. That silence is from Mick, by the way.
Yeah.
What was that sign? Say that again. Sorry, something just happened in my house there, and I get distracted for a minute.
It was the really spirit of Mick saying, "How are the lads?" Wasn't it?
Yeah. Totally. What? You know, I think we did okay, but we're going to move on anyway to the prediction side of things now and what the next fixtures are set coming up. And obviously what we've got first off is some League Cup fixtures this week. So not all the teams are in it because we're at the last sort of 8 now. But we're going to you guys, and I think that's probably I'm not going to say the biggest game of the fixture list because Liverpool are also at home to West Ham, and West Ham, it's a cup competition, anything could happen. But certainly those are probably the two biggest games, I think, of the kind of League Cup. And I don't know how confident you feel getting into that, Dave, against us, but I kind of feel confident because it's a League Cup. But then I remember, wait a minute, we're crap away from home, and Chelsea's not bad at home.
Yeah, I don't know. I think after playing you guys recently and getting smashed, I have no confidence whatsoever, even at home. I don't know. We've got no fullbacks
this year, especially going to St James's Park and getting beat, and then expecting to get smashed at your home ground because we're not the same team when we go away from home. But we have been in the League Cup though. In the League Cup, we went away. We beat Man City at home, but then we went away and beat Man United at Old Trafford. So.
Everyone beats United at Old Trafford, though.
Not usually us. Especially as you beat us in the League Cup final last year. So, I guess from my point of view, you guys probably don't care about it anyway. You probably don't even care you're out, because you won it last year, Ryan. And Dave's thinking, Chelsea have won the League Cup loads of times. I don't really care what happens
I'd like
here.
a cup.
But for me, it's like, I'd love us to win that. So
I think you guys understand. But
to be honest, I think Newcastle need that first trophy, but I think Chelsea need a good cup run as well.
We definitely need a cup at the moment. We need some confidence.
Yeah, the season is the league. The league is just going one way for Chelsea.
Success. We need it more.
Yeah,
but
then you say that
to just propel us to the next level.
It would be the first trophy for Todd Bowley as well. So
it's downside.
That makes it worse. You don't deserve anything after all his crappy spin.
What's the winnings for the League Cup? Is it like 5 million or something stupid?
It's a year's supply of energy drinks.
I know that probably when you play it on FIFA and stuff like that, you get about 10 pence for winning the League Cup.
Yeah, you get nothing.
You get millions for winning, and I think it's probably not that far off that in real life, to be honest.
Pays for Mudrik's
wages.
It's not
about the money; it's about the glory. Newcastle haven't won a domestic trophy in 69 years. So
both teams are fairly young as well, so it'll be great for both of them to kind of start off on something, really.
Tell you one prediction I will make. I don't think Liverpool will win the League Cup, and yet they'll be heavy favourites because of where they are in the league, and they're the biggest team, if you like, left in it in terms of where they are in the league. I just have a feeling that they won't win.
I also love as well that one of the quarterfinals we've got is Port Vale versus Borough, so we've got one lower side guaranteed in the semi-final. I love that. I mean, they're going to get absolutely smacked whoever they play in the semi-final unless Fulham make it through. But
I mean, I think Fulham have been smashing a lot of teams lately, Marvin Rios. So
yeah, they have, but they just, I don't know. if anyone's gonna get beat over 2 legs by Port Vale, it's Fulham.
It's 2 legs in the semis.
Is it 2 legs?
Or have they dropped that now? It was definitely 2 legs last season.
That doesn't start till.
Or is that the FA Cup?
We'll come back to you next time.
I
don't know why the next time. I have no idea. I have genuinely no idea. I'll need to look into that. I don't think it is 2 legs. I think it's one and done still until the next round.
No. So semi-finals are 2 legs. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, well we're not at the semis yet. We're at the quarters.
Yeah, but the next stage will be.
That's what I was talking about there. If anyone's going to lose a 2-legged semi to Port Vale, it's Fulham. That was my whole point.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Sorry. Well, will we get to our predictions anyway, guys, for those games and the EPL games at the weekend? By the time we speak to you next, there will have been some more games, but we can't predict too many in one go. So this is we're going to show you our new whiteboards now that we've all invested in, although mine seem to cost more than anybody else.
That is a good quality bit of kit cam. How much did you pay for that?
It's top quality. I'm not going to say how much I paid for it, but what I will say is it cost 300% more than either Dave's or Ryan's, which shows you my skills in purchasing things. So there we go. There's our predictions, which we will record. I've got them saved anyway, and that covers us right through the EPL games. But as I say, we would normally record this on a Monday. Next Monday, it's kind of Christmas Day, and we ain't recording a podcast on Christmas Day because we'll be spending it with our families. So what we're thinking about doing is doing it on Wednesday instead, but there will be some extra games have come on there because unless, if you're from Britain, you'll be fully aware of this. If you're not from Britain, our teams play a lot. They don't really get a Christmas break. They actually play more football during Christmas because we're all at home to watch it in telly and make people money. So basically, there's every game apart from Christmas Day, and there's games on. So there's a lot for us to cover next time that we're back, but we'll do our best. Right, guys, we'll wrap it up there this week. That's us done. So we will be back. Not on Monday, we'll be a bit later next week before we get back with next week's episode talking about the next set of fixtures. As always, let us know in the comments if there's anything you want to see us cover in future episodes. We do plenty when there's not fixtures on. We're still going to be recording. That will be a little while before we get to that point, and we'll be picking up some of the topics that have been asked us to cover in the comments as well. We'll be doing then on weeks when there's less fixtures to cover, so we've got a bit more time to talk about them. So if you have suggested anything in the comments and we haven't touched it yet, we are taking note of it. We will get to it. It's just that we don't have time really to discuss it and all the football fixtures when there's so many games on like there is at the moment. That's it. Bye from us. Thanks. Like and subscribe if you can, and tune in again next week if possible.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas. Cheers,
Merry
guys.
Christmas.